Hello everybody, video here for you today. I did not update the opening narration yet again, sorry, but I'm off this coming Wednesday, so should have time to update it and get episode 7 out that same day. There is a ranch in northern Utah that's considered to be the epicenter of the strangest and most disturbing phenomenon on Earth. Bizarre UFO sightings, animal mutilations, and unusual energies that have proven harmful to humans. The federal government tried and failed for 20 years to find out answers, but now a new team of experts has taken over, determined to reveal the secret of Skinwalker Ranch. This is the No Cap Recap, The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch, Season 6, Episode 6, called Posting Up, originally aired July 8th, 2025. For more Skinwalker Ranch recaps, there's a playlist link in the upper right. The episode starts off with the drilling of the second borehole into the mesa and up in an arc through the ground at the top of the mesa. After multiple mechanical issues over the past year that should actually be very expected on the ranch by now, the first borehole was completed and coated with a cement gel to prevent collapse. The boreholes are on either side of the large object the ground-penetrating radar detected inside the mesa, and the plan is to insert scientific instruments to collect data on the object and the many smaller objects all around it that Dr. Taylor suspects is a debris field. The team has also hired archaeologist Chris Roberts to assist them with the mesa investigation. He will be checking the drilling spoils for any artifacts. 3 years ago, drilling into the mesa resulted in spoils that contained these chips, which were found to be similar to what NASA, SpaceX, and Blue Origin uses to protect the exterior of spacecraft. Chris will also be metal detecting. That afternoon, ground-penetrating radar expert and the Curse of Oak Island veteran Jan Franke is on the top of the mesa with a GPR snake-like device that has a computer on board and is accessed through a phone app. He'll be using it to get further data on the area around Borehole 1 and hopefully gets more detailed information on the objects of interest. He designed this piece of equipment specifically to get inside very small cracks in the Giza pyramids. At 240 feet, about a third of the borehole's length, there is an obstruction of some type. The gel cement should have kept the borehole open, but it's Skinwalker Ranch. They pulled the GPR snake out of the borehole and are excited by the prospect of data, at least as far as they got. The next day after the GPR data has been processed, Jan returns. He says that there's nothing detected for the first 60 feet, which is left of the red circle. At that 60-foot mark, there is a metal reflection. At 150 feet is another different-looking reflection. Thomas mentions that the drillers are getting their butts kicked, but they are making progress on borehole 2. At the Mesa drill site, we find out that one of the forms of butt kicking is the water used to lubricate the drill bit while cutting through the sandstone, and that should be flowing out of the borehole is no longer doing that at 85 feet in, so it must be going somewhere else in the mesa. It has been 250 gallons of water being introduced, but none coming back out. They're going to attempt to keep going to hopefully get back into rock so that water and spoils come out again. Eric says it reminds him of the first time they got into the mesa And that was 3 years prior when they sought information on voids by dropping smoke bombs into small crevices. Instead of staying localized or coming out of a different crevice, all of the smoke appeared to get sucked inside the mesa instead. Meanwhile, the team has decided on the next step in investigating the bubble. They will be putting markers at its boundaries. The bubble is seen only by LiDAR, so the markers will allow the team to know exactly where the boundaries are. Using the LiDAR data, Eric has plotted the bubble and has determined the GPS locations. So the team can install wooden posts, which will also have lights and scientific instruments. After putting a post in the east field, the team moves to Homestead 2 to do the same. Dr. Tyler and Caleb look for the next post spot at Homestead 2 and find a GPS bottle that they dropped along with others out of Brandon's helicopter in 2021 to try to pinpoint the source of high altitude radio frequency signals above the triangle. Dr. Taylor later recaps that after being dropped, they appeared to bounce off something and go away from the triangle. He wonders if the bubble was involved way back then, even though it would be 3 more years before they saw the LiDAR evidence of it. Homestead 2 is at the western boundary of the bubble. They move on to the southern boundary, and Caleb finds another of the bottles. Dr. Taylor later says that it's like they hit the top of the bubble, then slid down the outside of it to land in those spots. They installed 30 posts, but they only show a few of them being installed. The next day at the Mesa drill site, the update from the drillers is that in borehole 2, they've gotten 130 feet inside the Mesa, but have now encountered something harder than granite. They continue to try to drill through it and manage to succeed past that point after 2 hours. At the spoils location, the archaeologist finds more of the metal first found 3 years prior on an early drilling into the mesa. Again, the makeup of the metal is very similar to what NASA and SpaceX used to protect the outside of spacecraft. Experiment time! The team is at Homestead 2 near the bubble boundary to try to repeat the rocket launch from last season that resulted in the rocket freezing in place for 6 or 7 seconds. As with a lot of ranch goings on, the bubble is now expected to have been the cause of it. Dr. Tyler will launch a rocket. He will be collecting terrestrial LiDAR data, and Jim will attempt to fly his LiDAR drone into the bubble. The rocket launches and heads directly towards the bubble. It doesn't freeze this time, but it does turn away before penetrating it. The LiDAR drone is right on the bubble boundary when the signal from it to the control device is lost. Then Dr. Tyler sees that a 1.2 gigahertz frequency signal is being sent. Someone or something has been likely using that as a hello there ever since Eric broadcasted one during an experiment 5 episodes earlier in the season. He was using it as a baseline since neither the team nor the ranch had ever used that frequency before. Eric tracks the signal to close to where the rest of the team is now near Homestead 2. Jim uses his drone to try to find the source of the signal, but he keeps losing signal as he nears the boundary. Eric informs the team that the onboard GPS tracker also has repeated corruption data. Dr. Tyler and Caleb drive to the drone, and the good doctor says it's just stuck right there. Each time Jim tries to fly the drone forward, the camera starts shaking like it's up against something, is how Thomas describes it. Eric informs the rest of the team that GPS data corruption has gotten worse, and they end the experiment. The next day, the data debriefing occurs, and Eric says that the blue circles are the drone's actual path / non-corrupted data. The red ones are the corruption, and the orange ones are the boundary posts that were installed. The drone controller feed shows that the H in a circle, which is the home spot that the drone returns to in certain situations, is bouncing all over the place, even up in the sky. Also of note, the circled number is the amount of feet away from that spot. It starts accurately at 850 feet, but then starts going down and eventually stops at 645 feet, which means the drone thought it was pushed back 205 feet. And another angle that shows the drone staying in the same spot, Caleb spots something green to the left of the drone. I'll continue recapping Season 6 this summer and possibly early fall, depending on how many episodes there are, as well as retro no-cap recaps of Seasons 2 through 4 of The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. I'll also be finishing up retro no-cap recaps of The Curse of Oak Island, second half of Season 8. All of the other seasons and episodes are already done and are in the Oak Island playlist. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment.